Folks, Somalia is facing a hunger and poverty problem that they have not seen in decades. The humanitarian crisis has surged due to historic weather changes causing massive drought and a 20-year insurgency by Al-Qaeda. The United Nations Children's Fund says more than 500,000 children could die by the middle of this year unless urgent action is taken. Currently, most children admitted to Somalia's hospitals don't make it because families don't have the means to make it to medical facilities in time for life-saving medical care. To discuss this issue is Abdi Eye, a board member from the Amoud Foundation, a Texas-based nonprofit that's helped communities in the Horn of Africa for over 22 years. Glad to have you on the show. Abdi, here's the thing. When I think back to We Are the World, that was an idea that originated with Harry Belafonte. Somalia was one of the places, Ethiopia was one of the places where Harry and others went. They were talking about the crisis when it came to children, Somalia, Ethiopia, many of these different places. And so when you think about this, we're back to it. And unfortunately, when I think about Rwanda, when I think about so many of these humanitarian crises in African nations, what happens is, and this is why I'm saying this, in the United States, we often talk about what's in the economic interest of the United States. And so our response to that is different than a humanitarian crisis. Ukraine, that is seen as in the economic, foreign, national security interest of the United States. And so all the focus about the folks who are dying there, but over here, when you talk about 500,000 dead, you pretty much have silence.
Right. So thank you for having me on the show. This is my first time that I went to this show. Yes, this crisis has been in the making for the last 30 years. We went through a civil war for 30 years. We have an Al-Shabaab extreme group that is part of basically our problem. We have a climate change that's basically prevalent in our part of the world. And we've been left out to spend ourselves basically to struggle and basically work on those three factors. And we cannot, as a Somali, figure it out exactly how to bypass this problem. 30 years of political crisis. We have a government after governments that did not have any capability of basically putting a system to prevent famine to their own people. We have the Al-Shabaab who basically control certain parts of the country. Well, the famine is prevalent right now in South Central Somalia, where the breadwinner of the Somali people, if you look at it, and we have the climate crisis, basically. Rain used to come every year, and fertile lands, a lot of basically cultivations, and now you see the rain comes in every 5-6 years. So with all these issues, we've been left to fend for ourselves. Big countries like United States and Europeans, and the non-profit organizations, for example, the NGO, the United Nations organizations, if a place is not secure or security is not good, they don't go. So that is the problem that we have. There's a lot of people in Kenya, a lot of organizations in Kenya, and they don't go and deliver the food or whatever that is because they say it is a security issue. Yet, as you mentioned, that they go to Ukraine, they go to any place that has got the same serious. I mean, I'm not belittling the Ukraine is basically issues, but the whole world has been basically helping Ukraine at this point. And the same amount of people are dying. In 2011, we have a famine. About 260,000 people died. Half of them were kids. And now 2023 or 2022, the projection is about 500,000 kids less than 5 years old will die. So
that is absolutely devastating there. Questions for my panel. Let me first start with Mustafa.
Yeah, well, first of all, thank you for the work that you're doing. I'm curious, what would you like to see those organizations of color here in this country do to be better supportive of the things that you're trying to address back home?
We established as a Somali Americans an organization called Amoud Foundation, which I am part of it, and we are the ground people. We know where to go. You know where the security is. We know our people basically, and we distribute foods. We help orphanages. We create MCHs. We deliver dry food. We deliver water wells. We deliver water on a tracks, medicines, all kind of stuff. What I want from our Black Friends organization is to tag up with us, with Amoud Foundation or any other organization that is indigenous to the cause, and help us, either basically help us on funding raising funds, or donating by yourself. And that way, let's be our conduits for everybody who's helping for the Somali cause. I mean, I know there's a lot of kids who are dying. This is deja vu again, 1984, when We Are the World was basically, was hearing the song of We Are the World. There's a lot of people are dying, really, and we expect and we hope that the African Americans in this country help and chip in as well. And you can go through us, so you can go to another organizations that basically send the money and the food and the help directly to the people who are affected.
Randy.
It's hard for me to even talk about this. This is very painful watching this video. Is there a way that we can put pressure on our country? Are there any plans to try to appeal to our government, or what has been done?
Well, lack of government always causes a lot of issues. When you don't have a proper government, the basic necessity of the people of that country will fall off, basically. And since the 1993 debacle of the Somali black hole down, America basically did not come up front and say that we're going to help Somalia again. They kind of like, they hold their hands and they say, no, that's it, we're done. So in the political view, there is no movements, basically, no.
Right.
Normally, you have to have a government, a big government, who's pushing you basically to stand a government, so you can. But when everybody's fighting each other, and nobody's basically beating the other one. We are all equal, right? We're there. So yes, we would need a political situation resolution to put Somalia into the front and make sure that country comes in as a viable country that help its own people as well as be peaceful with its neighbors. And we still don't have that one with the Europeans or the Americans or anybody else.
Let's go to Jason.
So thank you for coming on. I have a couple of questions. I guess the main question that I have is what kind of U.S., you mentioned Ukraine, where the U.S. is involved. What kind of U.S. intervention from the U.S. government would you want? We've seen the U.S. get involved on the continent of Africa, and it's been disastrous. I know that they are involved in some of the things that are going on with al-Shabaab and trying to deal with that situation. But, we saw what happened in Libya, and that did not go well. What kind of intervention would you actually want from the U.S. government?
Well, first of all, humanitarian. There's a lot of people who are dying. So food, medicine, all kind of stuff that you can basically stop the bleeding of those people who are dying is very important and very eminent. That's the number one. Number two is there's a government right now in Somalia. Even though the United States of America is fighting al-Shabaab through the sky, basically they're sending some kind of drones. We need, I think, to my understanding, we need that help of the United States to give arms, not the United States military, but at least the United States arms to go to Somalia and build the military and all kind of stuff, and then they can fight al-Shabaab. Now, if the al-Shabaab is eliminated, probably then there would be a little hope that people who are fled, there is a lot of IDPs. IDPs is basically people who left their livelihood, their farming their animals because they could not cultivate because of the Al-Shabaab or people attacking. People will go back to their original place, and they can basically live in peace or at least cultivate. So we need to basically move those IDPs and shut down those IDPs and move back to their original locations. And the first step that we're going to do is to defeat Al-Shabaab. And Al-Shabaab is one of the thorn in Somalia at this point. The rest will basically resolve after in a years. But right now, that's our problem. We are fragmented. We don't know exactly where we're going. Nobody listens to nobody. And we need a force, an external force to push it, the Somalis basically into a statehood.
How can folks help your organization? If they want to send support, where do they go?
If they want to support, we have an AmoudFoundation.org. AmoudFoundation.org is our website. There's a lot of products that we deliver to the people. There's a lot of people donate through the Amoud Foundation. If you want to donate to orphanage, MCH, dry food, water well, medicines, schools, all those things. If you look at those are the IDP people that we deliver the dry food every day for the last 3 months right now. And our president is in Somalia at this time, assessing exactly what the problem is. So that's where you're going to go to AmoudFoundation.com.
All right.
Or .org.
We will certainly spread the word. Thanks so much. I appreciate it. Thanks a lot.
Well, thank you.
All right, folks, back to our Roland Martin Unfiltered video in just one moment. When you talk about blackness and what happens in black culture, we're about covering these things that matter to us, speaking to our issues and concerns.
This is a genuine people-powered movement.
There's a lot of stuff that we're not getting. You get it, and you spread the word.
We wish to plead our own cause. Too long have others spoken for us. We cannot tell our own story if we can't pay for it. This is about covering us. Invest in black-owned media. Your dollars matter. We don't have to keep asking them to cover our stuff. So please support us in what we do, folks. We want to hit 2,000 people, $50 this month, raise $100,000. We're behind 100,000, so we want to hit that. Y'all money makes this possible. Checks and money orders go to P.O. Box 57196, Washington, D.C. 20037-0196. The Cash App is $RM Unfiltered. PayPal is R Martin Unfiltered. Venmo is RM Unfiltered. Zelle is Roland@RolandSMartin.com.